5 years or something. Order if that's all right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Ahrens? Says absent prior notice. Mr. Behrens is absent. Mr. Christensen? Absent. Mr. Frerichs?
Here.
Mr. Godbout?
Here.
Lautner?
Present.
Mr. Noonan?
Here.
Mr. Popa?
Here.
Ms. Ross?
Here.
Mr. Walter? Absent.
We have quorum. Is there any public comment? Steve?
Chief Steyer, Labor in Empire Township. Some time ago, there was a gentleman here talking about an ice skating rink in the park, and I'm hoping that you'll have that brought back up. And
Speak up just a little louder.
some time ago,
Come on up a little bit, maybe. No, he's okay. If he just steps,
Sorry,
front
I'm
of
hard
us.
of hearing.
all right.
yeah.
I'll start off with a different subject. I try to watch these meetings on television, and the sound is so bad that I cannot figure out what's going on at all. So I'm hoping that somehow somebody can figure out how to make the recordings more understandable when you watch it on television. Okay? Now, back to my original comment about the ice skating rink. I hope that'll come back up again and that you'll reconsider that and have it be something that can go forward. Also, I've been reading the Leelanau County Parks and Rec Commission's mission statement, and I'll just read that to you. The mission of the Leelanau County Parks and Rec Commission is to provide cost-effective recreational opportunities for the residents of and visitors to Leelanau County. Well, I would just like to see take the words cost-effective out, because it doesn't mean anything, because it's absolutely not measurable. You can't tell what the cost benefit of anything in the parks. So that shouldn't even be in there. And number two, I'd like to have you consider revising this to include more different kinds of opportunities other than recreation. There are other opportunities that people in the county could take advantage of that are not included in the word recreation, such as education, social activities, or entertainment. So I think some of those things that would broaden the benefit of the parks to people in the county. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Moving on to the agenda additions or deletions. Does anybody have any changes?
Okay by me.
Can I get a motion to approve as presented?
So moved?
Support?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Got an agenda. Moving on to our action items, approval of the minutes from the September 6th meeting. Hopefully everybody got a chance to read those.
I did.
I don't have them in front of me, and I was going to double check. Am I absent with prior notice?
Yes. Well,
Well, there's the second page of the packet. Oh.
It's okay. I am,
Linda absent with prior notice.
okay. Yeah, I was in Richmond. Thank you. Thank you.
I have three things to comment on, but I can wait till the Miles Kimberly report for that.
well, if there are changes to the minutes, you need to talk about them now if you need something changed.
I don't need it changed.
Do you have another packet, John?
Just questions I had about it. That's
Okay.
all, yeah.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Support?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Moving on to the financials, September financials, which are also in your packet. And we're
Just under half of our budget used up. 48.5%.
And so, if we were to look at our parks, you open in May. Do you have most of May? Do you start bills in May or they start coming in June? So your budget is pretty much May to November, probably when the bills roll through, so
They're all year round.
well, yeah, you have a few all year round.
Yeah.
But so
Utilities and stuff.
so this is through September, and you said 40%?
48.
48, still you're half, so we're a little behind. Do we have bills coming in we expect to pay to bring us back up to where we ought to be this time of year?
No.
Okay. All right.
There's a few small things cooking with concrete at Veronica Valley and wiring at Old Summers.
Capital, what did we budget for, where's our capital outlay at?
55,000 was budgeted.
Mm-hmm. What do we have left
Still haven't
there?
spent any of it now.
We haven't spent any of it. What did we budget for?
Clock is ticking.
I forget what all we had on there. There were several projects that just kind of got shot down with there was some money budgeted for miles, but that got put on hold for the redo of the plan until that gets done. Old Settlers, can't remember what we had on there.
We had the,
With the gravel, the parking,
Parking?
which
Okay.
I guess could potentially get done. I haven't had time to meet with anybody else. I got the one bid from Stan's, but we're supposed to get 3 bids.
Right.
And Friday, okay, so that, and then I talked to Bill Ankerson and he told me not till next year. So I don't know if that counts as soliciting a bid.
Okay,
I mean,
possibly.
To me it does, but it's not on paper, so I don't know how things go.
And that would be something we could do without, wouldn't be, even after the ground's
We would
frozen,
just-
right? Cementing isn't gonna work in a few weeks, but,
This could be done as long as we don't have snow on the ground,
yeah. Okay, so I just say that.
but that's still only $5,000 is what,
Right.
$48.50 is what the other bid was.
Right. One other year, we respectfully requested to the Board of Commissioners that we be allowed to roll that into next year. This year, we're still, I haven't gotten the commission to budge more than the 55,000 that we requested. So I'm trying. So if we were to roll that, we could potentially get something bigger and better done in another year because we would have more money. Although I do know that we have the gazebo in there for next year for the Old Settlers.
And Charlie wants to have a meeting about that
Mhm.
next month.
I want to have a meeting immediately prior to the next monthly meeting, like at 2:15 here on
So
that day.
the rest of our capital, that's really not, it's really not due to the fault of this board, it's just been circumstances. Is that what I'm understanding, that we
Yeah.
haven't been able to
It's
spend
kind of-
our?
Go ahead, Laurel.
Well, we still are looking at an expenditure of cover underneath all of the playground equipment, right?
Oh, the mulch?
Yeah.
Potentially.
And we still have potential expenditures for the split stone bench.
Oh, that'll be donated.
That's a donation.
Okay, oh,
Yep,
that's right.
yep, that's all paid for.
There's going to be a significant amount of money left over. We didn't,
Yeah, and I didn't really envision the playground stuff being done until next year.
Yeah, it's a good idea, wait in spring, right?
Yeah.
So, if I may, because I'm trying to work this out in my head. So, the tennis courts, they were a much bigger project and we probably couldn't get anything done with them.
as far as new ones,
Whatever we were gonna refurbish or new, what were we looking at doing for tennis?
pickleball.
I'm not, okay, and that's pretty major though, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Another thing we had talked about for Miles Kimberly was some fencing to put in a dog park. It's possible we could,
The loop trail.
Dog park.
all came about.
Loop Trail came in the absolute highest, so can we do something for a Loop Trail, yeah, this year?
But all the things for Miles Kimmerly are put on hold because we don't have the plan, the 5-year plan that
I see what
we
you're
have
saying.
come. Because it's hard for us to build a dog park or pickleball
Okay.
courts till we get that plan. That's the holdup. But Melinda,
Yes.
did the board set a precedent and they did roll over money one year?
We did, we
So
were able to
there's a
roll it over.
precedent
There
set
is
on
a
that, so
precedence,
Under
and
these circumstances, maybe you could take that to the board along the panel here and
We can
convince
show,
them that we've been trying to work on this, but we're stymied a little.
right,
well, we can show that the intent is there because we hired Gosling to do this conceptual plan, and we've been waiting months for him to produce this.
exactly. Okay.
And we lost a quarter of the year.
If
I think
that's
there's
what,
plenty to stand on, and
Okay.
we were talking about this prior to the meeting. It's kind of the same old thing. If you have to get one person motivated on a project, and they have to stick with it from start to
Yep.
finish and never let off the
Absolutely.
gas.
yep,
And with a volunteer board meeting once a month, plus having to originate it out of committee first, then to this committee, then to the, I mean,
it's cumbersome.
a
Wait.
1-year turnaround is not very likely. You have to start it 1 year ahead of time and then move into the next year.
Can I have-
That's,
Casey, can we make a motion then, that we can take, a motion that this board asks, makes a
To roll it.
request to roll it over?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we should do that then.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
We need to do that.
Who wants to make it?
Is October too soon? Would we better do November?
I'm thinking that, let's do it now, because let's get it in the budget
Yeah,
for
we need-
2024.
I would
Allow
just
to
word it
grow.
as whatever capital outlay remains at the end of the year, that it gets rolled into next year's budget, because we don't know exactly how much that's going to be.
Mm-mm.
But it's not gonna,
It's gonna be most. of it.
10,000 maybe, yeah.
Pretty amazing.
yes.
So that would be at least 45,000, and,
I think, I think let's make it formal. Let's make it now, so we have it in at the November meeting.
That's fine.
okay, so the motion is to allow Parks and Recreation to roll over the remainder of their
Capital
capital
outlay.
outlay budget into 2024 to be able to accomplish the projects as slated.
You will support?
Support.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And we need a motion to approve the financials too.
Just one question, does the capital outlay, does that include the capital outlay under 5,000 also?
No,
Well,
two
it's-
separate line items. I
I
mean,
know.
it could.
Can
What
add
we
that?
What
can't.
falls underneath?
Under
Did we
5,000?
spend any of that yet?
No.
That's,
We'll be using
Yeah.
some of that. So use that.
where does Gosling's bill come out of?
Maybe contraction.
That's a procedural thing.
Okay.
I think we should include both line items personally,
We're gonna spend some of that down.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a
But it's still, we're
few.
gonna say what's remained in both of those accounts.
Oh, yeah, we'll try for both, sure, sure.
So we
Talk to
still,
Sean.
we've only spent 42% of the contractual, right? So we have half of that left, or has, we
Well,
have
some
not
of that,
paid?
some of that will be coming out, or that'll get down, because we still have bills for contractual services for winterization. Is there any
Leaf
more
pickup. There should be
upkeep on the
leaf
grass,
pickup
the soccer
and-
field?
Okay,
So that's not an accurate number.
I don't
Okay.
know.
okay.
No, this isn't that long.
Right. There's a lot of that will get spent down by the end of the year. It's just stuff that comes late, or
Okay.
fall stuff.
Things going on around utilities.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Trash.
There's still several months yet of
Okay,
utility bills, winterizations,
How attractive.
we will, we'll just get as much rolled over as we can.
Okay.
But let's make a promise to ourselves that we're gonna spend that money next year.
Mhm.
Make it a goal. Let's do it.
Well, we can always try. That's the
Let's-
biggest thing about this board is there's a lot of try, but it's very difficult to get projects accomplished in that amount of time.
And again, there is conversation at the county level to hire a facilities manager at some point. I'm not sure it'll be next year, but that would have some responsibility for the parks. And I think that would, what's that?
And that would be extremely helpful because somebody that's tasked with daily progression on a project would be, this month-to-month stuff is,
Not working.
things get lost in the giggly weeds and people, I mean, you're motivated at the meeting, then you leave, and then you go back to your life, and it's hard to keep up with.
And when I sit on the board of commissioners, I have voiced that
Yeah.
I believe it's a consensus of this group that our work would be much better. Yeah, going forward. Yeah. It's not serving us well, is it?
Are there any other questions on the financials? Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Support?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to committee reports. Miles Kimmerly.
I have no formal report from Miles Kimmerly because we're in limbo, because we don't know what to do, because we don't have a report from Goslin Kuzdek. But I'm going to take advantage of not hearing from them and give them a call and try to set up two things. We have to make sure we have the report before we have the meeting with them again, and we need another meeting with them after we receive the report. So I'll emphasize that to them and to him, and we'll see what happens, and I'll let you folks know what happens. That's one thing. The other thing I'd like to mention from the minutes of September 6th, I wasn't here, but there was a question of a liability issue at the ice rink at Miles Kimmerly. And do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, Laurel sent a message to Terry, which is right, there's a copy of it right here. And she actually just sent him another email today saying, hey, we'd like an update here as to what's going on. So I did meet with, or Scott met with the Dan Mays, that was last week or the week before. And he, somehow, I don't know how I didn't understand this, but there's not water right up there by the rink. There's a water spigot, but it's not for the winter. So then that kind of put the kibosh to it. But I told him just maybe pump the brakes a little bit. It is a possibility that we could, it would involve some money, dig up the lines, put a shut off on all the other lines, and then run a winterized water line up there with a frost-free hydrant. Would it be a lot of money? No, but I told him I didn't really want to move forward on the project until we had an answer from MMRMA as to, what this whole idea is. So it's not out of the works yet, but taking a pause until we hear back from this guy as to what his thoughts are.
And then the third thing is recognition of park volunteers. Kama mentioned that, and it was going to be on the agenda, but it kind of slipped out, which is not a problem. But Miles Kimmerly, I don't know if we have any park volunteers. Scott?
Luke?
We do. See, it'd be nice for us to have a list of the names of people that we know volunteer and do things, but, I don't hear about it. And maybe I'd like to recognize them, but I don't know who they are.
I'm trying to find, we received an email from someone with the Little League recently. I can't remember.
Well, they
what
wanted to paint. They painted the
Ben,
On the dugouts.
dugouts.
Donated by lumber company.
Honor Lumber Company. Honor Building Supply.
And in the past, the disc golf people have taken care of the signs and put stuff in like that. And that's in the past, so, it's nice to have that all recorded, yeah.
and Ben Papes, is that how you say his last name? You got that email from him, right? On Stockneck Road?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was a request. It was sent to Steve, me, John, and Don. You got it too. You're on the email trail.
I didn't get it.
But he was talking about the need for the Little League fields to be improved, and he was pretty specific. You didn't get this either?
What's the date on that, please?
It was just yesterday,
Well, give
yeah.
me a break.
But he, again, is volunteering, offering to volunteer and be a collaborator with us. But, you know, he mentioned upgrades to the scoreboards, which we,
There is no
We
scoreboard.
don't have a.
well, an upgrade to have a scoreboard, yes.
And then there's
And
been,
refresh the dugouts.
there's been several people that have asked me about it because they caught wind that I was the chair of the Parks Commission. My son plays Little League there. And I've kind of filled them in on the process and maybe coming to a meeting and talking with us about, and coming up with a plan as to what things would cost and what they need. Nobody's done that yet.
Well, this.
Or I haven't seen this email, but
Okay, I'll forward that on to everyone, and maybe we could ask him to come to a,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I don't know his name at all, but
How do you spell his last name?
Did you do some spraying on the one field?
Ben Papes.
Looked like some, I mean, it looked nice.
Well, all this rain finally. My lawn actually looks amazing and I haven't done anything to it, so maybe take credit.
Okay, anything else, Tom?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
There it is.
Moving on to Old Settlers?
I would like to schedule a meeting, like I said, immediately prior to our next monthly meeting, mostly to go over the scope of service that I've written up for the gazebo work, go over the whatever they are.
MMRMA?
MMRA, report, just to see if what items we need to undertake next year, and the status of other projects that we had going, just to make sure we're all up to speed.
Okay.
Got 2 quotes for the electrical work. $50 each other. Sell 4 to the spot, 2 to not.
Okay, speak up, Scott, you're so soft-spoken.
Got two quotes back for the wiring.
Okay,
Gazebo.
so you got the gazebo.
They're within $50 of each other. They're $24.70 and $24.25. And sell for requests, got 2 back, 2 to the spot.
Okay,
So your guys' approval will add.
the approval of this whole board?
Yes.
Okay. So at this point, I would move that we accept the low bid for the restoration.
Well, the high bid was our preferred vendor.
I'm sorry?
The high bid is our preferred vendor. He's done work for us before, and so I got
You got it.
They're short within like $50 or 10%. We always say, do it in the best interest of the county.
Well, usually in the RFP, we state that we can accept or reject any all bids.
It's within $55.
Okay. So I will.
Is that from 45th? What's the other one?
Logic.
Heard it.
So the company you prefer is,
45th.
and how much is the?
I don't know anything about Logic, but 45th has done a significant amount of work for myself and my family, and I know their work to be very, very well done.
Okay. So I guess I will amend it to that we would accept the bid from 45th for the restoration of the electrical service to the gazebo
Support.
in the amount of
Not to exceed 24.25.
not to exceed 2425.
Support.
I would like it to say per letter dated.
20,
Per letter dated or bid dated.
September 15th.
And I think I heard a support.
Yes, certainly.
okay. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
I,
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anything else, Charlie?
No, those 2 things.
Good.
If the members of the committee can say they're available for that earlier meeting next month.
Yes, I thought I answered your email. If I did not, I think I'm good.
I'll be available.
So 11/1 at 2 p.m. is what you had originally asked for.
Well, I'd asked for 2:15 on 11/1, which is, that's the request. So if you would go ahead and schedule that.
2:15.
Sounds good to me. Anything else?
Okay,
Okay.
I think I'm good.
For Old Settlers.
It's All Saints Day. 2:15. Parks.
Moving on to Veronica Valley. Dave's not here. Is there anybody that has John, any report?
We haven't, our meeting is scheduled for next week. We haven't had it, but I was looking at the minutes. Dave said something. Looks like he had a bunch of action items, but we haven't had a meeting. We've got it scheduled, but
He's gone, or was gone. Didn't he leave like right after our last meeting? And has been gone? Okay. That's most likely why you'd have
Yeah,
had a
it was
meeting.
an appointment he could not reschedule.
Right.
and that's why we didn't have the meeting before this meeting.
Okay. Nothing else to report on?
I don't know.
Okay. Public comment? Steve?
I wanted to remind you that the mission statement that I read earlier was adopted 23 years ago.
Wow.
So I really think it's time that you look at that mission statement and make some revisions to make the parks more relevant to certain citizens of the county. The park review with the consultant was May 26th. That's been 4 months ago. I think if I heard right, Casey said that they might take a year. They didn't really have much work to do because this is a revision of the existing plan. And those people only went as directed by the Miles Kimberly Park Committee to the south side of the road. I want to remind everybody that there's a big amount of land on the north side of the road that also should be studied along with the revision to the master plan.
The only reason that it's taken so long is on this gentleman's accord. He hasn't held up his end of the bargain and gotten his work done. It shouldn't take a year. This should actually be almost completed at this point. He's not.
Also, I was really shocked to hear your comments about volunteerism at the Miles Kimberly Park. I think everybody sitting up there should be aware that
Good point.
our lease for that 2 acres and the barn clearly states that we are to work towards being an integral part of the Miles Kimberly Park. We have raised and spent over $100,000 on the barn. We have put in thousands of hours of volunteer service to a property that still belongs to the county. And I think I have never asked for any recognition at all. But for the people that I've asked to volunteer there and give money, those folks need some recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Any commissioner comments?
I just have the one. Yes, I think, I hope we've done a really good job of thanking all the volunteers that have worked on that barn. I think we've had, I know it's been mentioned several times here at this board. So there's been a lot of recognition. I think, and I don't want anyone to misunderstand that, we tend to now separate in our minds maybe and in obviously our budgeting, we separate the barn from the rest of the park. So the comments earlier were clearly thinking along the line of the ball diamonds and the tennis courts and the disc golf courses. We've had a lot of volunteers that come up and work on the disc golf course. We've had people working on the trails up above. And I think, so that my understanding is that that's where those comments were coming from. Now, if Barn Committee is also doing stuff across the road I haven't heard about, I think that would be a great report to put in. If they're working on the ball diamonds or the playgrounds or the, trails over there, that's just wonderful. So the only other comment I had is, and I imagine that committee, we just got an update on the septic field removal yesterday. So is everybody up to date on where that is from the
No, I
Miles?
see the progress.
Yeah.
I drove by it today, and the piping for the drain field looks like it's pretty much installed.
Yeah.
They haven't covered it over yet, so that you can see the PVC pipe laying all over there, but.
Yes.
So-
Tanks in the ground.
But it's
That's the
not,
problem, but
Yeah.
it's not our problem.
It's
But they're still using the field, obviously, if it's not covered.
For now.
So it's not a done deal by any means.
But it's moving along.
It's moving along, but it's not a done deal.
Right, he's at least meeting,
You know, if it goes past whatever deadline the board sets.
as long as we're moving
We're
forward.
making, we're moving forward.
We're getting there.
It's very close.
And then what did we say we have to do with the crossroads? Does it have to be crushed, or it have to be crushed if we're gonna put trail over top of it?
The determination was you could just leave it as is.
Okay. Good deal. Great. Thank you for that. I wanted to mention that.
I'm sorry, I do have a comment because I forgot to mention that the prayer bench has been installed at the chapel. I drove by there again today and just take a look. It does look good. There are 2 picnic tables out by the front of the chapel. Can we get those moved out of there? I mean, optically and visually, they're not aesthetic.
Just 2 picnic tables.
There's the 2 picnic tables that are in front of the chapel, by the chapel doors and whatnot. I mean, are they serving a purpose?
They move them.
People move those all over the place on their own.
That built-in one, I'd like to see gone, honestly, today.
Okay, it was just a comment.
Is it built in over by the chapel? Cemented
And
in?
buildings.
Oh, yeah, well, we can move it. We can look at that at our committee meeting, perhaps? Okay.
Okay, any other commissioner comments?
Yeah, Steve and I and Chris Gallinger are going to meet on Friday here at noon, and we're going to go over the composting
Oh, yeah.
display that we're moving forward with. Looking at maybe simplifying the display there just to make it more incoming in conjunction with what their efforts are out there. So we'll keep you informed as we move forward, but we hope to have it in the ground before the ground freezes. So we'll let you know.
John?
Chris?
Steve, I appreciate your comments and all the work that you do. I really do. The thing is that I forget half of them as soon as I leave here. And you do come to these meetings quite regularly, and I think if you have a comment, especially on our mission and stuff like that, if you could type that up and hand it out at the beginning of the meeting, then it goes with the minutes. So when you make a comment, there's a submittal, it'll get attached in there. Not all comments from the public get written up. I see the last ones where sometimes they just say, comment was given. And, but if you got something important, that's just my suggestion. But I appreciate what you do.
Absolutely. And I would echo those comments. Being able to save that barn is a major asset to our community, whether everybody realizes it or not. But the educational aspect and the thought process behind that barn and farm are something that I think we need to all as a society revisit. We do appreciate the work. Any other comments? Okay, I'll adjourn this meeting.
Beat it by 2 minutes.
Shortest one we've ever had, I think.
We had to get John to Northport.
I didn't catch it. Who did you say you're meeting with?
Chris Scallinger.
Linda,
The one-
I appreciate your comments.
Scallinger? Does
Steve,
the
that was
garden
very
there
good.
at
Everybody's
Barn
comments.
Farms.
I was gonna say
He's the one
something,
who
but it
does
seemed
row by
redundant.
row with volunteers.
Thank you.
Maintains a beautiful garden. So,
Okay.
yeah, he's gonna be doing the composting for us.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, we'll see you later. We'll get after that corn.
Yeah, next week.
All right.
We're gonna see this thing?